Back again in person this time around for the Inside LAFC Max and Vince podcast. You did great while I was away.
Thank you.
In quarantine.
Felt weird. It felt really weird. Because I was talking to you, but I was really talking to a computer. And I still haven't figured out how to modulate my voice. I don't need to yell at you. I have a microphone. I guess I'm not a true professional in that way.
Yeah, it felt weird for me, but it felt good because I didn't have to drive
because you literally
lengthy Burbank.
Yeah, you shut your computer and turned and were like, hey, can I get some food? You're just right in your house. That must have been nice.
For those listening, most people are obviously listening in Los Angeles. I'm in Redondo Beach where the weather is 70 degrees, sea layer. You may need a light sweater, and then you do this 40-minute drive, and all of a sudden you are Lawrence of Arabia out here. It's roasting.
I'm in Long Beach, same thing.
So go a lot. So I always overdress a bit, but I need to show T-shirts and sandals when I come up here.
LAFC recently had a poster using Lawrence of Arabia.
Yeah.
You commented to me.
It's like no one's going to get that.
Do you think the graphic designers have seen that movie?
I'm demanding we all get in a room and watch it. And
I'm going to say AC and Jeff. Have you seen that movie?
AC and Jeff. I know you listen sometimes. We're going to watch that together.
What's the runtime on that? Is that a 4-hour?
340.
Ooh, not quite 4.
340. I think it's 340.
Yeah.
The opening scene, he's on the camelback and he's riding, and it takes 10 minutes for him to come to camera. It's just like, everything's so indulgent. It was a time where there was no rush to make a movie.
Movies back then were fantastic. I remember watching the original Italian Job.
Yeah.
There's no talking
Benny
for the
Hill.
first 20 minutes. And
Great actor.
It's a guy just driving amazing roads in a cool car going through tunnels. Nothing.
TV as well. And
no hurry.
We're stalling here because we don't only want to talk about the Sporting Kansas City game, but we're going to get there. Someone tweeted
But
this
people
once.
love this.
He was watching the old show Columbo with Peter Falk, and he put on a clip of him making a phone call, and he's on a TV show, and it literally took him 2-3 minutes to get the phone, dial the number with the old rotary phone. It was like, you couldn't edit that part out.
Yep.
Sent all 7 numbers. And then he's, hello, yeah, well, I'm here at the restaurant. I don't see.
Did he get it the first time, or did he mess up and have to start again?
I think it was a mess up. It was hilarious. He goes, a lot of time on their hands. Sporting Kansas City game.
We had a lot of time on our hands because we knew the result of that game within the first 40 minutes.
We knew it. Did you get a feeling it was going to be a rough night? When I was looking at the 11, and I was like, look, you're asking a lot. You're missing your best 2 defenders. You are bringing in a player starting for the first time in about 9 months in Brian Rodriguez. You're playing with a 2-man midfield. I looked at it and I go, this could be a long night.
Yeah.
And
I looked at it also and thought that, but then they started okay-ish. I mean, it's not like, what's funny? I said in the post game, SKC did what we used to do to teams, where teams would be like, hey,
I watched the post game.
They're letting us play. Oh, thank you, Max. I thought you were busy doing your own post game.
Well, afterwards, it was already taped, and I watched the recording.
But in 2019, the way LAFC played, and I know a lot, and I said this exact point. I know a lot of people talk about our pretty possession and patterns of play, and they really like to have the ball. No, we like to be dangerous with the ball in 2019. Like, possession was not just for possession's sake. And we used to let teams kind of kick it around a little bit, and the teams would be like, hey, we feel pretty good. Like, LAFC is letting us kind of move the ball around. Bam, goal. Bam, goal. And that's literally what SKC did to us in our home stadium.
And you also said on your postgame, there was no buildup. There was no, they would try
we played right into them.
Shortchanged. Their pressure was, whether it was good or not, we did nothing with the ball, and we got turned over time and time again. I mean, they were on Atuesta. They were trapping him.
2-man midfield. What are they going to do?
It was a 2-man midfield, and that's what's going to happen. What is going to what? How do you remedy that? Are these the wingbacks supposed to be midfielders? That's a bigger job for them now because they're supposed to kind of make it a 4-man midfield when possible. Yeah, they're not booming forward.
They're supposed to find angles. The angles just don't seem to be there at all in this system. I mean, I'll caveat this with this. I've said this after multiple games. This has got to be the end of the wingback system. I don't know.
We don't know.
I don't know, but the
personnel will go a long way. I mean, if Jesus Murillo, if he's available Sunday and he could play, maybe they go back. But if it's a 5, it's my heart's going to start racing a little.
I've posed this to a couple people. I don't think I posed this to you. Kim Moon-Won. Any reason why he can't just play as a right back in a 4? I don't know where this rumor came where everyone's like, I think he can only play in a 5.
No, he looks good. I mean, I think he could. I mean, he gets back. He works hard.
He has recovery speed. He's shown that he has a physical nature and willing to get in there, and he can dribble and eliminate guys on the dribble. The only thing he doesn't do well as a fullback, which he doesn't necessarily do as much as a wingback, and we don't need him to do this. Not a good crosser of the ball right now per se. Needs a little bit better end product. Okay, well, we don't need a guy to cross the ball a lot. I just think right now going back to a 4-back with 3 midfielders is going to be the thing that's going to help.
When they've gone back to 4-back in second half responses against Vancouver, they did that against Vancouver and against obviously
game states. They were chasing the game.
They were chasing the game. It worked, but it's also a situation where it's a 5-2-3 or a 5-3-2, and the 3 of the 5 are generally viewed as central defenders, and they're stay-at-home defenders. Yep. Well, those guys
to play very narrow.
Those guys on Wednesday night were Marco Farfan and Chiqui Palacios, who also, project as fullbacks.
Yeah.
Maybe Marco's
been doing it longer, right?
Maybe center back's a position for him.
I think if you have 2 center backs with him, yes.
But not as a 4.
But not flanking one center back and having I don't see him as a center back. I like the idea of when you have 3 center backs having one be, the Kyle Walker-esque, the converted fullback that at times it looks like you have a back 4, he can get wide, he can do some things, he can be on the ball. But without the added benefit of having an extra center back with him, Chiqui was caught on, what was it, the 3rd goal, where he was like, should I go out to that guy? Yeah, you probably should pressure that guy. Oh, it's too late to pressure that guy because he's hedging his bets. He's not. That's not his position.
Right, and they also, as we said, get very narrow.
Yeah,
and then you have these 3 guys packed in, and then Sporting just had acres of space out wide, and Graham Zuzi out there looking like Cafu.
I know. That's a good. That's a good callback.
That's always my right back.
Oh, okay.
Comparison.
That's a good
Cafu.
one.
Just like if he was left-footed, it's a Roberto
guys. If
Carlos.
you guys don't know who Cafu is, everyone knows Roberto Carlos because that free kick's been played ad nauseum.
Who would be another good right back bombing up on the right that I could use as an example?
Man,
you mentioned Kyle Walker, but
no.
All right, we'll leave it. It is Cafu for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
So there was just a lot of space, and it got trapped there, and so we'd see the ball get turned over.
Oh, Dani Alves,
great one.
You're just sitting with
Why
me.
it's always Brazilians?
They have a knack for fullbacks, man.
What's your ball? So they would respond. They'd be narrow. They'd look for who they'd mark, and before they could react, the ball comes in. And
yeah, because aside from being timid and not getting out to close guys, the worst thing you can do with a 3 center back pairing is have 10 to 15 yard gaps between them, because then it's basically useless. So you want to try to stay tight. We pointed out in the 110 football show that you were on with me this week, just breaking it down at the touchscreen. The wingbacks, they didn't provide much in the buildup, didn't provide much support in transition either. That is a big problem, because if Sporting's going to say, all right, we're going to stay narrow, and we're going to crowd everyone around here. You have extra guys on the outside. You got to be able to use that. And then when you don't, you no longer have those extra guys in the middle.
And they're bombing forward.
They shoved it right down the middle.
And Raheem and Moon were at the byline. They're going byline to byline, and then they have to turn around on a turnover, and they have 70 yards to get back.
70 yards, yeah.
And
emergency
you're never going to recover that.
Yeah.
So even if it was a back forward, you still have fullbacks going forward. So in this case, you could have some cover in a midfield 3.
Yeah, you have the midfield 3. You have an extra guy there. I mean, we broke down that 3rd goal where Sifu looks behind him and goes, "Oh no, there's nobody. That's me.
Sifu looked right.
I'm the only guy in the center of the field." Yes, there's 3 center backs back there, but they got 40 yards to cover. They got 40 yards behind them, 20 yards in front of them, and they've got 4 guys running at them. They're in a no-win proposition.
Yeah, it's a track meet, and you sit there and getting to call the games from home and above. You're looking down, going, "Oh boy!" And I mean, just big acres of space where whoever would come in the middle, and sometimes it was Kyrie Shelton on that first goal, which was a good strategy also from Sporting. Peter Vermees is a smart guy, and he said, "Let's pop this ball up." Took these weird bounces, fell perfectly. He drew the attention of everyone, and Alan Polito has an easy goal to
a little bit of the Barnsley sky ball.
Well, they did that a couple times, but you're looking to go, it's going to work again.
Well, Kyrie is an impressive physical guy. I mean, how he was not seriously injured, because Tomas Romero went to head the ball and literally headed Kyrie's head almost clean off, and he was able to come back into the game.
Thomas Romero would be interesting to see if there isn't a switch in goalkeeper. I'm not saying he's bored, but I think like in the ice hockey rule, and I promise never to talk ice hockey.
Here we go. Finally, we got hockey talk back with Max.
When your goalie has a bad go, you kind of sit him out because it's got in his head.
Yeah, give him a chance.
So you had 4 goals, and maybe you just need to reassess things, but maybe not.
It's a somewhat quick turnaround, right? So
what was that, Manesh? Stop making 10 minutes later, he says, "Stop making hockey references."
Yeah. Well, you realize by the way, he's talking to Manesh, our producer, who's in our ears. You guys can't hear him. Max, don't talk to him as if you can hear him.
Can I say something about hockey?
Yeah, sure.
To all hockey
people love
fans,
when you talk about hockey.
To all hockey fans, your sport is on the scrap heap. Soccer has boomed right by it. It is obviously has a big deal with ESPN. Hello, Jason. And it's becoming a very parochial sport where the locals will go see it. And now MLS is becoming more of a national level sport. That's not exactly true, but soccer as a whole has passed it through. So if you're in hockey and you feel a little lost, jump on soccer now because you'll feel really late in the game if you do it in a couple years when we're post World Cups and we're heading to 2026 and everyone's raving about it. Plus, you can do it. You can live in a warm weather climate.
But what about baseball? No, I'm kidding. Don't go.
Baseball's doing okay, right?
I don't think so.
Fans are not happy. The fans aren't getting younger. It's the pitchers are too good.
The pitchers are too good, and all the guys that are fun then get the ball thrown at their head.
Yes, and the Dodgers are buying everyone.
Yeah, I don't love it.
I don't love it either. I've not watched any baseball.
I mean, I grew up loving baseball. It's you know what it is. It's a fun destination to go and hang out with your friends, like have a picnic while something is happening in the background. It's wallpaper.
Yeah, and they'll never go from 162 games. So there you have it.
That's a lot of games.
I think the playoffs are coming up.
Do we have anything else to add?
Cleveland Indians / Guardians not making the postseason.
Yeah, I like their logo, the new logo.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I'll watch.
Did we
Football season's starting, so hey, this is the time where MLS freaks out, but we're not freaking out this time around.
Well, did we run out of steam with our Sporting KC stuff?
No, we've got. Look, I will say this about Sporting. That's a really good team. They put them to the sword. They've won 3 straight road games. Peter Vermees, I believe, 200 wins. They're always there at the end. Mm-hmm. They've had a little issues getting into an MLS Cup a couple times where they probably should have. They had it there and they got pipped by somebody. One time it was Portland when they made it as a 5 seed, and obviously to Seattle here as well. But Daniel Salloi is the MVP in my estimations. Yeah. We looked at him and said, "This is a guy you have to curtail." And he was everywhere. He assisted on the second goal. He scored the third goal. He's just there. To see a guy like that who clearly has worked so hard at his game where he's become marginal MLS player to MVP candidate is amazing. Every club can only dream of this happening. What would be a comparison? Imagine Danny Masovsky. I'm just saying Danny because he played. All of a sudden coming in and scoring 10 goals, 5 assists, and being involved in everything. And you're like, it happens sometimes. It happens where it just clicks for a guy.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of Mark Anthony Kaye a little bit, right? Except for he's taking it to another level. We're talking MVP, not just an all-star.
Just out of the blue.
MVP candidate.
I mean, he had 1 goal in 2020. He had 1 goal in 2019. He has 10 at the halfway point of 2021. I think you have Alan Polito back. They didn't have Gianluca Abusio, who probably means he might be on his way.
He's on his way out. He's getting his medical done.
To Italy.
Yeah, he's going to be hanging out in the canals in Venice.
Yeah, do it now before it's underwater.
Becoming a gondolier. I mean,
you can be a gondolier in Vegas if you want.
Yeah, but it's so hot.
Rumors about an MLS team in Vegas. It makes sense.
I know, you were out in Vegas. I heard that field was a little narrow, though.
It was a little narrow.
They're going to be able to make it a true field?
I will
please.
Say.
Like, here, new rules in MLS, and this should be, like, written in stone, but it's not. No new teams can have artificial turf, and no new teams can have makeshift fields. Like, you got to have at least a 70-yard wide field, and it's got to have grass.
Yeah, I can build it up a bit. It was a bit narrow. Maybe that affected Mexico in many ways. It didn't. I mean, it felt narrow, but it wasn't like annoying. Like, oh, look at that ball going out. I think they still got a good game in. Great place to see a concert. The audio in there is amazing. They've had Illenium, the DJ, and Garth Brooks. So the minute
wow, what a
the minute Air Supply, the minute Air Supply has a show, I'll let you know so you can go see them.
Oh yeah, I love Air Supply.
River Band.
I'm all out of love. So, no, I just to put a bigger point on Sporting KC though, and I like that you brought that up. Like they are a very good team. Like let's be fair there. It is the worst home loss in team history though. But did we learn anything new about LAFC? Realistically, did we? We all kind of were like, is the Wingbacks working out? Are we really hitting the same heights? LAFC still needs to clean up some mistakes in bad areas. LAFC still needs to finish teams off and start scoring some goals. All 3 of those were the problem, just to a bigger extent made by a better team.
But I think also, yeah, because this was a chance to win a game, but I think they get illuminated because of the nature of this loss. Because you're at the stadium, you're 40 minutes in, we're down 3 goals.
I'm just wondering, is that
Second half, we're down 4 goals.
I guess there's no solace in it, but I'm just wondering, like, it's not like we added an additional problem. I mean, I guess the additional problem is we're a little shorthanded there.
We're a little shorthanded. One thing we learned about LAFC is like, and I will say this till I'm blue in the face, when you're down 3 or 4 goals, that's when teams are like, ugh. And you keep an eye on LAFC. If players get frustrated, they are obviously frustrated. There's that one time where the ball came through for Rossi, and Vela was like, what?
Yeah, what do you make? I mean, I'm not a big body language guy, but he was clearly a little more frustrated than usual, and demonstrative with his teammates.
And that had to be directed at Diego, who, let's face it, had one of his worst games since.
I mean, there was a few guys where he was like, "You need to be here, and this needs to be there." And I love when people are always like, "Hey, Carlos is not a leader." Clearly, he is. Maybe he just feels he doesn't need to always do that. It does make your teammates sometimes look bad, so some guys don't like to do that. But if you're the guy that's like, Carlos not a leader, there's your guy.
Well, look, without being demonstrative, we can't see it, but there will be moments where guys like, I'm not running for this guy, or whatever happens. We have seen teams like Toronto, Atlanta, where the bottom fell out, and they're like, that's it.
Yeah.
With a manager. We haven't seen that from LAFC. We may you lose 4, you get down 4 goals a couple times.
There's a real danger.
The body language drops because no one likes that. So I applaud LAFC for battling the way they did in the second half to get out of it. But that's also a theme, kind of getting away and fighting till the very end and not scoring.
Yeah.
Which they were able to get a goal, but you really looked at that to go, they could have scored 3 or 4 in that second half.
Yeah. Well, it's not easy to look at these guys week in and week out and go, guys, I know you just keep hammering your head into that wall, but stick with it. Like, you can do it, especially young guys that, all of them have their minds on greener pastures very soon. Some of them thinking they should have been there by now. We said it in our grades, our midseason grades. I think, I'm not sure its credit is due per se, but you got to take it into consideration for Bob Bradley. Like, he's trying to keep a team together with a lot of guys who have eyes elsewhere.
It's tricky, and it's not just 1 or 2. I mean, it's 5 guys.
At least
5 guys are going, well, I'd like to. And maybe the one who didn't talk about is Eddie Segura. He's no longer with the team. So, I mean, you'd like to think if Murillo plays Sunday, Latif comes back, and we're going to have
no more wingbacks.
No more wingbacks. I mean, this is something that they can maintain. They're still in 5th place. First, second, and third may be starting to slip away off the horizon. You finish 4th, and I think we said that as a goal, and that could happen. And look, at San Jose, at Atlanta, who are not very good, and then the Galaxy. You have the All-Star game, too. So you have these 3 games that are really winnable. We obviously shouldn't say that about the Galaxy, but it's home. You should be able to do something there. So you get a collection of points. You should stay in that 4-5 range.
Yeah. All bets are off in a derby, right? So they should come out. We can. The one thing we say about Galaxy matches, you can never predict what's going to happen. But at home, you should hope for a performance. And Chicho Arango should be well in have through his paces by then. So there's some optimism, and the fact that we're only at the halfway point.
And I would forgive them. It was allowing 4 goals is something they haven't done, I think, a couple times as a franchise in their history. But that was a game that I said, look, this is a really good team, and LAFC's far from fully loaded, so you're probably taking L, even though it's at home. I think you can go that. But you look at San Jose, it lumps it on this one. Team you should be able to beat. Stylistically, you should be able to get the upper hand on them. They have taken the last couple results here, which should fire you up a bit. But it's still a away game and should be tricky. And I think that could be the gateway to how this season goes.
Yeah.
Be the beginning of the second half. But if they took a loss like this, that's going to be a big old reality check.
Well, we really have to emphasize, so far it has been a lack of execution, not a lack of effort. If there's another result like this, we might start seeing that lack of effort, and there's no coming back from that. It really is. And
you still battle out and go there, but the coaching staff will have to find the guys that are putting the effort still and those who may not.
Mamadou Fall standing in front of the 32-52 cheering them to winning that penalty. He knows that it's only going to make it a 4-2 with a couple minutes left, but they want that every inch of respect.
I love that.
I do too, especially for a guy that's like, he's barely been here. It's awesome.
He had it. He had that look on his face. He was like, not.
Oh, the look on his face when Alan Kelly ran in and goes, no, not a penalty. Oh.
Which was the right call.
It was right.
It was the right call. I was
Probably.
holding out.
Marginally.
Marginally. I would have let it go because it was a kid and he has to have his moment.
Not
So-
that he was going to take it.
Yeah, so this San Jose game's good, and you can watch it on my 13KOCOP Sunday early. I think.
Got to get that local broadcast back on the winning streak.
That was
It is a
tough
4 o'clock kickoff. So
I felt like they should have interviewed me after Bob to talk about the win streak. Well,
if they would have could have got you downstairs quickly and been like, so Max, and you're like, well, I mean, the broadcast, and we didn't change anything. We've been going out there doing what we do.
yeah, exactly.
And,
I would have set a cliche world record with my thing. Well, you win some, you lose some.
We really
is
deserve
6 in one,
more.
half a dozen in the other.
You got to go with we really deserve more. I really thought we deserved more.
It was we were the cat amongst the pigeons. I thought in that second half. That's a good one.
That is a good one. I don't know what it means.
But Daniel Salloi was like a bull in a china shop. I could just go.
That Shallowy's good, man.
What's another good one? It was a must win.
The must win. Yeah, of course.
Keep it going. So, this is an important stretch, but it should get better. And again, I'd say fourth. If LAFC finishes fourth,
It should.
it's a home game.
Should and also has to.
4 is that target. 5, 4, you get a game at home.
You don't want to slip
Set it up.
Yeah.
Be in good spirits. This is a very forgiving.
Well, I was talking to our good friend Dave Denholm, and he said you want to be 3 or 4 because you never know what's going to happen on the other side, and you never know how hot you could be going into the playoffs. You want to host MLS Cup.
Yeah.
You're a 7 team. Yeah, you slip in and you get to MLS Cup. Everyone's going to celebrate you, but there's no chance you're hosting MLS Cup.
If you're 4, there's a chance 5, 6, or 7. And who knows how the East goes? You might get a second game. These are wild playoffs, even though the West looks a bit more top heavy, which is a good thing. You've had the same 3 teams at the top.
That's what he's saying. If you're 3 and the West is a little more top heavy, and you somehow you're the king in the West, you're probably going to host MLS Cup because the East is a little wishy-washy.
Wow, man. Wow, it's happy times are here again.
No, I said.
Way to go, Vince. We're going to MLS Cup, everybody. We're going to MLS Cup. Get your tickets now at LAFC.com.
So how dare you.
And
go to LAFC.com. Just go to LAFC.com anyways. It's a great website.
See if you can go to MLS. So we'll have to wait on that. Anything else about Sporting Kansas City? A little mini preview about San Jose. Coming off, they're getting good wins. They beat Seattle, right? Although Seattle's dipping.
They were what?
Seattle,
They were winless in 11 and then beat Seattle.
Yeah.
And now Seattle's tied 1-1 with Dallas.
Earthquakes are a little
we
busy.
knew Seattle was going to hit that slump, and they were busy.
Yeah, Jeremy Abobasi.
LAFC killer.
We'll talk about that in our transfer extravaganza coming up.
Hey, guys, it's Transfer Deadline Day.
Transfer Deadline Day. We're going to talk all about it, including the Jeremy Abobasi in San Jose. But Cristian Espinoza got a goal recently in the game-winning situation. They're in good spirits. They're on the wrong side of the playoff line. But a lot of those teams are burgeoning in the West, which is going to show how tough this conference is going to be. Dallas is playing well. We saw Minnesota was at the bottom. They skyrocketed up. Yep. San Jose could certainly
a couple
do that.
Wins
Austin got a nice win.
Get you in a nice spot.
We saw it with us. We went from 11th to 5th.
Yeah,
and we've been in 5th for a month, by the way.
It's the only thing keeping us afloat.
We did pretty good.
Yeah.
So we'll wait and see. But we're still along second half of the season. The club needs your support. This is a tough spot, and I know it'll be a much better effort. There's enough pieces there to Carlos Vela also said ahead of that game the best Carlos is ahead. Brian Rodriguez I thought looked good, although he came out. Diego Rossi, who has been mentioned a lot for maybe being part of a deadline. We have no news to pass on, but for the time being, he is still here with LAFC. So you have that trio.
Yeah.
As
and Chicho Arango.
And Chicho Arango, who we'll talk about, and part of our transfer extravaganza. He is
Love transfer deadline day.
He is an experienced player.
Yep.
We'll see if
That's
he gets
what people wanted.
the paperwork Sunday. Would love to get him in there too.
So should we throw to our transfer extravaganza? Should
yes,
we wrap this
everything you wanted to know. The deadline is here. We're going to let you know who's coming, who's going. Our MLS transfer extravaganza is next. And we are back in the transfer extravaganza. I have all the comings and goings here. And there's nothing to report.
You guys want to know the truth? Max and I, we petitioned the club. We said, you know what? We need to be out there in the parking lot. Because the second John Thornton gets in his car, we need to be able to stop him at the gates. Hey, John, roll the window down. Are you wheeling and dealing today, John? They said we could not do that.
We will say this. There was activity for LAFC. Chicho Arango came in. Mm-hmm. Solid guy. I spoke to some friends who are fans of Millonarios down in Bogota. He is really upset. He said, that's our best player. You know they have on their team?
Who?
Freddie Guarin. Remember him?
No way.
And Fernando
Inter-legend.
Uribe, two old-timers that will probably go, man, now we got to do extra work.
Wasn't there rumors that they're trying to get Falcao to replace
There's
Chicho?
that. I mean, that's a club that used to be very proud, but they've gone down the pecking order. So Chicho is very happy to be here. This is a great move for him.
Well, he pulled them to a top finish. Then what was it, second the next time around? And so he's like, yeah, it's time to go.
Immediately when this happens, I go to YouTube and I find out the Colombian TV and all the punditry shows, they were upset. They just lost their best player. How do they expect to replace them? This was a big deal for Millonarios, and we'll see where it goes. They also sold Mark Anthony Kaye, got $1 million in allocation money. They sold Corey Baird, got $750,000 in allocation money. Remember, they got Corey for $500,000, so they made money on the exchange. These are all good developments for what they getting $1 million on Mark Anthony Kaye, and this allocation money used on Chicho Arango will be used.
But what we had heard was they didn't need that.
They didn't need that.
They did not need the Mark Anthony Kaye. They did not need the Corey Baird. So as of right now,
So they would do these moves because they figured they're going to not get a better offer than right now, and it worked out in Mark Anthony's case.
we talked about Mark Anthony Kaye. He had a year left on his deal. They had been talking. I'm sure that there were some numbers passed around, and Mark was not in agreement, was kind of looking around, and they said, okay, we'll find somewhere else for you to go because we're not going to let you go for free. So they did what was best for him in a respect and what's best for the team.
And they did that with Walker Zimmerman, and Walker Zimmerman's now doing very well. And but in return they got $1 million.
Yeah, Mark's gonna get well compensated by Colorado. I can guarantee that. There's gonna be a contract. There's probably already a contract on the table for him in Colorado, and he's just going to wait to sign it.
By the way, and I know it's a long season, but that's been the potential playoff matchup for the last 4 weeks. Colorado LAFC.
I'd like
still
to
have a
see
long way to go. That'd be great.
That'd be great.
It's a great matchup.
Although I'd prefer it here.
And LAFC have had success against Colorado.
Prefer it here than in Colorado, though.
Yes. Ooh.
But
they may have a big run of fish shows, which they'll have to force them to play out here.
Oh yeah, Red Rocks. So
they played at Dick's Sporting Goods.
Did they? Oh,
yes.
Did you go? Was that the one you went to? Oh, God. I've never lost more respect for Max than when he told me he was going to a fish
I never
show.
lost more respect for myself either. But
he called me from there. He goes, I hate myself.
I didn't say that. I said, get me an Uber.
Yeah. And where's the good drugs? So
where are they?
Yeah, where are they? We're recording this right now. It's a little bit afternoon. The deadline doesn't close till tonight. But so nothing has happened yet. What we're hearing is probably nothing's going to happen.
Yep.
We're just going to say that. And so what that means, after what I said, the reason why I wanted to say that about getting Chicho, LAFC is sitting on a stack of allocation cash. Now, we don't know what exactly that is for, but although this window closes, what you can do until that date I gave you, do you remember it?
September 15th?
September 15th is when rosters freeze. You can sign players that are out of contract. So that could be anyone from, say, I'm just going to throw names out there because everyone wants to do this for fun. David Luiz. Somebody sent me this. Gary Cahill. Ooh.
No.
Let's see. Who else is out there? Diego Costa. Doesn't seem like we need a forward now. But those type of guys, you can use that account.
Center back. I mean, David Luiz would be sounds exciting, but the money's not going to.
You can now offer them a decent sized contract without making them a DP because you can buy them down with your allocation money. So let's say you don't send out a Brian Rodriguez and you don't send out a Diego Rossi. You still have the flexibility to do some things.
And again, and I know you said this, but just to confirm, they could still have players go out.
Players can. The European deadline is August 31st. So
until August 31st, Diego Rossi, Brian Rodriguez, whomever else could still go outbound.
Yes.
Ida y vuelta. Just with the allocation money and one of the moves that were made, and there were a couple, these are just what we heard right as we started taping. Tejan Buchanan possibly going to Belgian football.
To Bruges for $7 million. That's a big move.
Joveljic went to the Galaxy, young Serbian forward.
Eintracht Frankfurt.
So Galaxy doing pretty well with some of their moves, which is going to enlighten things here, I'm sure. Jeremy Abobasi is the one allocation money. It was $1.2 million, I believe. I don't think LAFC would want to drop that, but Jeremy Abobasi, a national team level forward with great credentials in MLS, San Jose sees a guy who could fix their situation, so they throw a boatload, which LAFC can do now. Not now after this deadline, but the next market opens up. They could possibly do that for a big name player. Abobasi is a guy who fits the bill.
I tend to think, though, that if they're not going to move in this window, that it's for a foreign player, right?
Yeah.
Seems like it.
Sure. So there you go. Vince LaRosa Scoops is just breaking another big story. David Luiz coming to LAFC with allocation money.
Well, have you seen my Twitter today? I made a joke on the
About
post game. I was like, "Hey, Messi's coming." Had no idea what was going to be coming, and now Messi's not going to be playing for Barcelona. So maybe I talked it into existence. Do you guys want me to talk David Luiz into it?
No.
You want that?
Can I say something about Lionel Messi? Because
Please do.
I'm tired of being right all the time. 3 years ago, I said, Lionel Messi, get out of there. I love it here in the family. It's great.
Barcelona is a beautiful place to stay.
It's a beautiful, yeah. But we're talking about football. You have all the money in the world. You can go live and do whatever you want. Okay,
you have all the money in the world. Why wouldn't you live in Barcelona?
No trophies. I go, you're not going to win anymore there. Get out of there. Champions League embarrassments against PSG and other games. Get out of there, Messi. Second best in La Liga. Contract runs out. Now he can't get it thing. And I'm like sitting here going, I told you. This should have happened 6-7 months ago. It was a dysfunctional situation. Obviously, the money's not there, but we knew that, right?
How do very supposedly smart and also rich people somehow drive Barcelona into the ground? It's a money-making machine, and now they're so in debt. Like
Super League. Should have had a Super League. So
would that really have saved them?
They just had a big contract broadcast deal here, and probably Messi all over the place.
I'm telling you,
now there's no. He's not going to stay in Spain.
He's going to play for Barcelona. ESPN's going to call up La Liga and go, We'll take care of Barcelona's debt.
Yeah. We don't have Lionel Messi, but we have Mikel Oyarzabal. Does that interest you? No. How about Pedri? No.
Guys, we've already hired Mario Kempes to be on our broadcast. Let's go.
You feel for that. It's just, this man is such a massive property in this sport. So anyhow, we'll get back to the silly season. So Messi, you're saying Messi's coming to Major League Soccer?
It's more likely than ever.
It's more likely than ever. It really is, because the places he can go is shrunk.
Manesh is in my ear and he says Inter Miami. They already have 7 designated players.
Well, the thing is, he wants to go to Miami, but New York City FC affiliated with Manchester City. Maybe you get that. I believe they have a DP slot.
I believe they do as well.
And then you go, all right, we'll go here. We'll find a way to get you to Man City. But in the meantime, Yankee Stadium.
It's historic.
Baseball's back in the show.
Yeah, God. Oh. Well,
but maybe that fast tracks them to get that stadium.
The stadium that Messi built would be a pretty good tagline.
That's what you call it. Welcome to the stadium that Messi built tonight.
La Messi.
City FC takes on the Nashville SC.
Yeah. I mean, I think we figured it all out. Get Don on the phone. You have Don's number, right?
Yeah, I do.
Do you really? Like, if I wanted you to call Don Garber right now, could you? No way.
I don't.
No. Maybe Dan Quartermush. Right? Dan Quartermush.
Quartermush, yeah. But Dan, I mean, there's been events where I've gone with Don. I've given him a ride. He was in LA. I've given him a ride to the airport. So that is a fact. I get along great with Don. He's a good dude.
He sits in the back?
Yeah. No, he talks. Because we're going to have dinner. I go, I can't. My wife's gone. So I'll be back later.
I would just love it. He goes, Max,
have a great flight.
Max, you give me a ride. You get in. And he sits in the back. You go, what? Hey. What?
Hey, what's going on back there?
You enjoying your stay?
Get out of the car. So I think that's it for our transfer extravaganza. We were hoping for big news to report.
Well, we were hoping for big news, so I want to maybe just put.
And from what we understand, there was talks of whatever going on. I mean, they were grinding out. It's gotta.
Yeah, and I'm just wondering, because you and I have talked about this. We were like, what is going on? And we're like, and again, to no fault of LAFC's, COVID has come, and guys should have probably been gone maybe even a year earlier or 6 months earlier. Does it seem like some of the problem might be we need a big changeover? Maybe it's the Barcelona problem with Messi. Yeah. Get Messi out of there. You need to start turning. Like, it's a little stale, maybe.
It felt a little stale. A little stale on Wednesday night.
Right.
Kind of grind. Yeah, you need the apparatus to work.
Right.
You put it in, comes out, circle around. all fresh, clean it, maintain it.
And we keep saying it's not an effort thing because the guys are trying. They're definitely trying. A lot of people I always get this question: do you think Rossi's not playing well because he wants to move on? Like, God, there's 11 or more guys on that team that all want to go to Europe.
Yeah.
So that's always there. That's always there. And they know that they have to play well to go to Europe. He's not playing well because the system's not working. Because you have multiple guys that aren't playing well all at the same time, and maybe it's because you got to churn some guys along.
That was his 100th game last night. He wanted to have a special moment, and who knows how many? If in fact he's not playing many more games here.
Hundreds a nice round number
club.
if you just want to.
Yeah, that guy owes nothing. He put so much on of this club. I mean, he's one with Carlos. He's right there.
He grinds it out. I mean, I don't think I've ever looked at Diego and been like, "This is an effort."
Sandbagging.
Never.
No, me neither.
Doesn't miss training. Plays hurt.
Light to work with.
Takes a lot of knocks and barely has only missed maybe 2. Like when he was injured to start the season, we were like, "Oh, that's scary," because he's never injured, especially to start a season. He comes in. Bob always says he shows up to preseason in perfect shape, which isn't always the case with everyone. So
it is the case with me. I just want to let everyone know that.
Yeah. What's your fighting weight? You're like, you don't.
205.
You want to share this on podcast?
No, I'm much heavier than I look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's because you're burly.
Bones. Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt very bloated last night, though, but I feel okay today.
Yeah. It's gotta be tough feeling bloated standing next to Heath Pierce, right?
Son of a gun.
Yeah.
What's with Heath and Rogues dressing up like, I don't know, it was like a Gatsby party. I don't know. Was I not invited?
Yeah, we gotta have a talk. Let's calm it down.
Yeah, let's calm it down.
Actually, what I was thinking this the other day. What's with the suits? Can somebody break that? Can we finally just not do that anymore? I mean, look, I want
to look some kind of.
No, look cool, but I mean, I'm not saying go. Sorry to bring up baseball again. Go baseball commentator polos. Those are garbage.
Yeah.
I don't like that. But like, if you want to come cool,
like Lagerfeld fan.
Yeah.
What is it called? Where you have the
I want you to dress up full Mugatu.
Bolo ties. There you go.
Yeah, Mugatu.
He's so hot right now. Well, our transfer extravaganza wasn't as hot as we would have liked.
Petered out a little bit.
We'll be back, and I think that's a great point. We'll leave it at that. The conveyor belt, LAFC has built this for it to churn. Other clubs aren't really doing it. They do their business a little differently. So it's backed up because of this market and COVID, and hopefully we'll get going and new pieces come in. And
we are efforting John Thornton, so you don't have to hear us joke around and be speculating on all this. We're going to try to hear it from the man himself. So we'll get some of the answers to these questions soon.
Yes, and we're also planning on getting some folks from South America to talk Chicho Arango to give some depth on him for our next episode. But that's all the time we have inside LAFC, Max and Vid podcast. Make sure you share, download, spread the word, and we'll be in this together for what should be a compelling second half of the season.
Yeah, if you guys can get some of those, I've been seeing them lately in Long Beach, the flyers, and then you just pull the ticket off. Just put Max and Vince on there for us, some guerrilla marketing. Could we get that? Thanks.
We could use all the help.
Yeah,
Thank
please.
you. We'll see you next time.
Oh, yes! It knocked on the door.